Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity Podcast, episode 174. Now, this may actually be a slight change to the scheduled episode because I think at the end of last week, I said that we were going to be talking to Alison Young, and we are going to be talking to Alison Young. She's going to be on next week, but we've actually slotted this episode in especially because there's kind of like a time-sensitive event that's going on that we wanted to make sure we kind of talk about and let you know about. And plus we wanted to speak to the guest has been on our kind of wish list for the last few months, but everything has just kind of come together and made it so that this is the best time to speak to them and to put the podcast out. And on that note, you will notice, I know lots of you get notifications when the podcast comes out. For the last 3.5 years, every single Friday, we have released a podcast. And this is the first time in the history of the Health Oddity podcast that we are releasing a podcast not on a Friday. We're releasing it on the Tuesday, which is Boxing Day here in the UK. And I know Americans don't really, a lot of people in America listen to this. I don't think you celebrate Boxing Day, but it's a kind of a holiday over here. So it's Boxing Day over here, but we wanted to release the podcast early so we could tell you about this fantastic event. But before we do that, I'm just going to check in with my co-host, Mr. Peter Lant. How are you doing, Pete?
I'm all right. No, this is cool. This is the first time we've had to do this. It's like, quick, get it recorded, get it out there, and get it done. I love it. It's brilliant.
Excellent.
It's great to be able to do it as well. To be able to, like, for someone to say, like, can you, like, you need to speak to this guy because he's doing something amazing, and it's like, right, okay, let's get it sorted. And we've got it sorted within, like, what, 3 or 4 days or something?
Yeah, like, within like 48 hours, we've booked it. We're on, we're recording, which is fantastic. So just to give a little bit of background, and then we're obviously going to kind of be having a big conversation with our guest today. But Pete and I both went and kind of assisted on the loading crew and to just help out at the Britain's strongest disabled man, disabled woman in August in Chard in Somerset, where Magnus for Magnuson was the head judge, and we met lots of fantastic people there, and we've already had Louise Greer, No Legs, No Limits, on the podcast, and she was great, and I think she may actually be involved in what's coming up. Yeah, Mark's nodding, so we'll talk about that in a bit. And we met this gentleman there, and he's a I'll say he's a bull of a man. He's a strong man. I hope he takes that in the right way it's intended. He's a strong man, and we were there kind of watching and helping. And every time he came to do his event, he just kind of walked up, did the event, stepped off the platform, gave Magnus a fist bump, and just went and did it. Just no messing. Just it was incredibly inspiring. So the guy we have with us today it's Mark Toner or Mark Tonner? Is it Toner? Tonner. Okay, Mark Tonner. Okay. And we're just going to kind of have a conversation now because we've spent time together, but we've not really spoke to Mark a great deal about his background, about his life, about he's an injured veteran, a one-arm power. He's a fitness professional himself. He competes in Strongman. He's also a kind of, what would you say, like an inventor, a pioneer in terms of creating equipment and workarounds, I suppose, for adaptive athletes as well, which we'll touch on today as well, I'm sure. And he's got an amazing event that he's going to be doing tomorrow, or starting tomorrow. So we're just going to kind of have a conversation and learn all about this. And hopefully it's something that you find inspiring and that you can get behind. And if you have, some money, you can maybe go on and donate to a very, very worthy charity that Mark is raising money for. So first of all, Mark, welcome to the Health Oddity podcast.
How you doing? You're all right.
Excellent. So yeah, Mark, I mean, I suppose we'll obviously get to the event that's happening and what that's about and what that's for. But I suppose initially what would be really good just to sort of set the scene. Like I say, we met you back in August, but how has your, what's your background, in terms of your life, your training, your career, how things obviously have, changed for you in terms of becoming like an adaptive athlete and things. I mean, yeah, just talk to us if you can, and then we'll kind of maybe ask questions as we go, and yeah, just be great to kind of know your background and how you became the man you are today, really.
Well, some people say it's quite a strong inspirational story, but it's not in my eyes. It's mine. I do things for me. I don't. I do things for me in the sense where if someone tells me now I can't do something, then I go out my way to do it. And it all starts from having that military background. I was in the infantry for 15 years, and then I was blown up in Afghanistan and lost the use of my right arm. And when I came back, I was broken. I wasn't the man who I was. I wasn't able to be him, and it affected me massively. Beforehand, I was always training. I was always running. I was always tabbing, doing what soldiers do, going to foreign countries, doing my job. And when I got hit, I was broken, and it took a long time for me to adjust to that mentality that I can't do what I used to do. And I walked around with the mindset of I can't do it, can't do this, can't do that. Like I wore slippers for about 4 years because I wouldn't have anybody tie my shoelaces. I'm a grown man. No one ties my shoelaces. No one cuts up my food. I do it. And if I can't do it, I'm not going to do it. And that's what the mindset I was in. And then I met a man in a recovery centre called Mark Airy. And he was basically an RI at Headley Court. And he was in charge of rehabilitation for certain injuries. And we were there, and he always I used to wind him up with my mentality, but can't do this, I can't do that. And one day he brought in an individual who only had one arm. He had no legs, an arm, half his arm was missing, and he only had one arm. And on his arm he had 4 fingers. And he was a triathlete. And that opened my eyes to like, what am I moaning about, really? I've got 2 legs, I've got 1 hand, and he's got the opposite. And I'm moaning about my life and how I'm broke and this, and he's doing triathlons like the no tomorrow. So then that changed my perception of what I can do. I always used to go off the effect that I've got to do it the certain way, like tying your shoelaces. You do it the same way every day of your life. So I had to change. I had to find things that I could do my way. And that was it. That was the big turner in my life, because I had to find things that I had to do my way, like tying my own shoelaces, cut my own food, put my ties on, that sort of stuff. And then it come to the point where in 2000, I got hit in 2010, and in 2012, that was when I met the individual with one arm. And my timeline's a bit screwed up because my memory's a bit dodgy, but I know it was 2012, and that was the turnaround for me, because I then walked from Catterick in North Yorkshire to Chester in 4 days to raise money for Memorial. So we did 56 miles walking, tabbing, doing what we need to do, and that was it. And then I had a big lower depression when I left, and that's when I met other people, and that's what turned me around. And then I ended up training for triathlons. I was a triathlete before I was a strongman. I did the Ironman. I did Cotswolds. I did all the big ones as an adaptive athlete. And it was just, how far can I push myself? So then I started lifting again. I was always lifting from the age of 13. I was lifting weights. And then obviously when I got injured, I didn't think I could. I only had legs. I could only run, which meant nothing. So then I started lifting, and I got stronger and stronger and stronger, and to the point where someone tagged me in a post for World's Strongest Disabled Man when we were in lockdown. So I applied, got accepted, and won. So my first competition. So that was the start of it, and then I've not really lost since. There's a few characters in my category which are very strong individuals, and I look forward to competing against them, because that gives me the kick and the drive. Whereas I'm going to beat them. That's what I have in my head. I ain't going to beat me. I'm not going to beat them. I'm going to beat me. And then with all the strongman how it developed in my life, and how what I was allowed to compete with, I was actually told I weren't allowed to do stones because it's too heavy. We can only do the little ones because we can only pick them up with one hand. Which, to me, that was a big no-no, because that was like someone wearing a prosthetic leg doing it. So I came up with I call it a stone sling, and now I can lift 200 kilo stone, put it on a platform. It's not nothing really, but it's more about nothing can stop me now. That's the mentality.
Just to ask, Mark, when you so that there was a quote, I think it's something like, is it like necessity is the mother of invention? Is that make sense, Pete? I think it's that, isn't it, Mark? Yeah. So like necessity is the mother of invention. So it's sort of like, right, I need to find a way to do this. And what did you do? Just sort of sit down with a bit of paper and a pencil and just
No,
start?
it was actually a friend of mine designed what it looked like first. It looked like the old barrel carriers. You know the old barrel carriers in the pubs, the ones where you one handle get one handle and one person get the other, and you put the barrel in the middle. And that's what it was the first time. And what I found was it kept rolling out the stone. The stone kept rolling out all the time. It was, you had to get a pinpoint precision just to get it off the floor, because if you didn't, it would roll out. And that was a big no-no when you're trying to do a stone run for time and you're spending half the time trying to pick the stone up. So the problem wasn't picking the stone up, it was keeping it in the sling. So then we come up with a way of preventing that roll out, if that makes sense. And that was with the ladder cage. So the sling now is just basically looks like an
agility
ladder.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was talking to some people in the gym earlier, and I showed them some of the videos. I said we were speaking to you this afternoon, and I showed them the video of you doing, I think it was the giant dumbbell floor to overhead. It was the axle floor to overhead. I think I showed them the yoke as well, because you obviously do the yoke with one arm, as you know, holding the yoke.
One shoulder,
one shoulder. And I was telling, and I was and I kind of said, and I was trying to explain it, and that's kind of what I said. It's almost like an agility ladder, the sling, so that the bottom of the stone, when it's in it, it's kind of, you know, it's within a little cradle, isn't it? And it's not going to roll out, and then you can get a hold of the other bit. Yeah.
So because we designed it that way because a lot of people that were using that type of sling they were hurting themselves. So when we actually got this sling done, it wasn't long enough. So I think I went up to do the Blair stones up in Scotland, and we had to extend it as we were doing the stones because I couldn't not literally get the strapping round or the sling round. So now it's a big long. It looks like I'm wearing a ladder. So then I can pick up any stone, any size, any diameter now. So it's a lot better. And then when it comes to other things like we use the ultra jar, which is the sling for deadlifts and stuff. Now mine's a little bit different. I like to lift properly. And I was analysing a couple of lifters and my own lift when I was just pinching it from one shoulder. It caused a lot of lean in the spine. And I thought I've got to stop that because that's going to hurt people. So now I cradle the sling. So I've got a harness come from the front and the back of me, and it sort of comes into a V. So when I pick the bar up and the bar moves, it actually moves in sync with my arm instead of being hooked to one side. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of it's come from obviously working and helping people with injuries as well. So I had PT, but I'm not doing so much PT now. Then it's I believe if I'm not mentally right, I can't help people to get right. So this is what I do to get myself right by keeping focused.
It's great that because we had Dan John on a couple of weeks ago, and he talks about he talked about it on one of the previous episodes about, you know, like there's all this equipment about for everything, but if you take it all away, what have you got left? And then you become adaptive. Even as like, you know, I'd hate using able-bodied and all that sort of stuff, but as someone who's got four functional limbs and a functional brain and all that sort of stuff, you can still become too comfortable. Whereas, you know, I had
Yeah, and that,
you talk about stone lifting. We had Dave Keown on, who's he's uncovering all these stones in Ireland. I don't know if you've heard of him.
yeah, I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he was talking about as well, you know, you pick up like weird shaped stuff and you get stronger at the conventional stuff. You do the conventional stuff, you don't necessarily get stronger at the weird shaped stuff. So it's all the adaptive stuff and just figuring things out. I find that fascinating.
I'm a big believer of the harder I can make it in training, the easier it is. So if I have to lift something 5 times, I'll lift it 10. If I have to lift an awkward object, I will make it even awkward than the one I'm going to have. That's how I've always worked. That's how I've always, even when in the army, you're always planned for the worst, you're always planned for whatever, and then leaving, everything was a negative. Now I look at the positive, right? The positive is this: if I've got to lift this stone onto this platform, what's the best way I'm going to do it? Whether I have to adapt me or adapt the or move the stone or whatever, but it depends. It depends on your mindset. I don't have a failing mindset. My mind does what I tell it to sometimes. When I'm not in such a good place, that sort of takes over. But then my discipline kicks in to the point where you know what's going to happen if you don't. So crack on. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like it's a like I refuse to take medication. I was on medication for a long time, and it made me bad. And I won't go on it again. I don't do counselling because I had a negative react or negative scenario. I basically explained what I was feeling, and they tried to section me. So I'm not going to put myself in that position again. So I don't do counselling. My counselling, my therapy, my pill is going into the gym and working that hard where my bones hurt, muscles hurt, but my mind is healthy. Now, people say that's a negative because it's a form of self-punishment or self-harm. I would rather do that version of self-harm where I know I'm going to get a result at the end of it. I don't look at it as self-harm. I look at it as discipline, motivation. I know what I'm like if I get in a certain way or a certain mindset, and I don't want to go back there. Now, I've not been in that mindset for a long time. It creeps up and creeps up, but I know what I need to do. It's my way. My way is not everyone's way. And that's what comes to do this with the event that we're going to talk about in a minute. That's massive for me because there's nothing harder than what I'm about to do. I've done this once and it was hell, but I'll do it again and again and again if I just help that one person. Do you know what I mean? That's all I do it for. And this time, instead of doing it by myself, I've got a large amount of people that are wanting to do it. So more the merrier. And that's who I am. I'm more about. I've never done anything for myself. I just do what I need to do. And some people say I should take recognition for the things I've done. I don't. I don't need to. I know what I've done. That's what I'm not doing it for anybody's approval. I'm not doing it for anyone's, how you think of me. I've done it because I believe it's right. So I've done it. And
you know what? I've been doing a lot of stuff on like reading Taoism and things like that, and just like, old philosophies and what have you. And you've just explained exactly what it's all about with like whether you've read it or not, you've got it, because it's like, you pick the right path for you, and it doesn't matter what everyone else does. And like, someone who's had like trauma and stuff like that, well, you need counseling. It's like, not everyone does. But you're going to the gym and hurting yourself. It's like, you're not going and hurting yourself. You're testing yourself, and it works for you. And then the thing you've said there is, it's not about the recognition. You've detached yourself from all of the outcomes of it, and you just do it because it feels right. Yeah. And that's basically the entire philosophy, written in 81 verses or something like that can all be interpreted in many different ways. And that's the whole thing about it. It's interpretive, and you've just explained it all in one go, which is amazing. I love that. So, yeah.
I am when this event, it's close because I've been there. I've attempted twice, and I've lost people. And then certain situation happened within my family where I would never do that again. And I want people to actually know that there is someone out there that would help them. And the thing is with suicide, you'll never know that person is about to do it. You'll never know someone who's about to commit suicide, because they will hide it from them, from everyone, the best mate, the family. They will hide it from absolutely everyone as best they can. And you won't know what's going to happen. Because I didn't. And it affected me massively. To the whole idea of me doing this event is to raise not money. The money's a bonus. My main goal for this event is to raise awareness. That's all I'm doing this for. And like I said, I will do this again and again and again. And it probably is the hardest thing. Like I said, I've done all sorts in the military, all the military tests. I've done them all. I've done Ironmans, I've done triathlons, I've done, you name a hard event, I've probably done it, and yet nothing comes close to this. Nothing.
Yeah. So Mark, why don't we start talking about this event and what it is, what you're actually going to physically be doing, and then also you mentioned the kind of the suicide prevention charity, which I think is called Ripple.
Yeah.
And that's who you're kind of raising funds and awareness, for. So, and I think just before we came on, you were going to say you've done something like this or the same thing.
Yeah, well,
a few years ago. So what is the challenge?
I'm doing a 24-hour deadlift where for 24 hours I am going to accumulate weight that I deadlift. The last time I did this was in January 2002, and I managed to lift 76,800 and something. I can't remember the exact number. But it was sort of rushed. The organization, the event was rushed. It wasn't planned very well on my behalf. No, nobody else's. On my behalf, I was in that mindset of just getting it done. Now, at that point, 200 kilo was a light weight for me. So, well, it is now still.
Fair enough.
Just to clarify, Mark, so 76,800 and something kilos is that?
I'd have to check on that.
No, but that's kilos lifted over the 24 hours.
Yeah, kilos lifted over a 24-hour period.
Yeah, okay.
And the first time I did this, I went in a bit naive, and I was going to do the 200 kilo for the whole 24 hours. No, didn't work like that. I managed to lift the 200 kilo for about 3 hours, and then my body was done. It was screaming pain. So I kept coming down in weight. By the end of the 24 hours, I was only lifting 60 kilo. That's how hard it was. So
what were you doing with 200 kilos on the bar? Were you doing like one rep, put it down, and then rest? Or
doing sets of 5.
Okay. for anyone who's listening who deadlifts or does deadlifts, 200 kilos. I've never lifted 200 kilos. That's kind of like a lifetime goal for me. For one rep. That's a lifetime goal for me for one rep.
I was just doing the maths on this, and that would be 16 deadlifts an hour for 24 hours.
Yeah, it was.
What's that? That's one every 4 minutes.
Yeah,
24 hours with 200 kilos.
Well, I only lasted about 3 hours on the 200 kilos. So this time I've thought about it. I've looked at everything. I've analysed everything. This time I'll be lifting 100 kilo. I've got a minimum target of 100,000 kilo. And what I've got to do there is 44 reps of 100 kilo per hour. So what I'm going to try and do in the first couple of hours, try and get over 44 reps. So then it takes my reps off in the later hours, because I know I'm going to come down in weight. It's one of those things that's going to happen. I'm going to try and stay at 100 kilo for as long as I can. I doubted that I'll come down from 100 kilo, but I've got to try and average 44 reps at 100 kilo.
Yeah, because that makes sense actually, because you just said it's funny. We had a guy on a couple of weeks back now, Chris Branch, who was talking about he trained and he ran 100 miles on a 400-meter running track, you know, and it was 403 laps in 24 hours basically. And it was, and so this is really similar, because he was telling us about the heart rate he was trying to keep at, and he knew he needed to pace it. So this is great to think that, okay, and like you say, if you started at 200 kilos last time and you ended up with 60, you're now thinking, well, if I start at 100 kilos on the bar, I should be able to do the 100 kilos on the bar for the whole 24 hours. That's the idea. Yeah, because you won't burn out doing.
So basically, I'm going to do sets of 5. I'm going to try and. I think it's one set every 7 minutes.
Yeah, I was just looking at it.
Yeah, one set of 5 every 7 minutes. So 7 minutes and 100 kilo is a lot of rest, but it's not about doing it as fast as I can. It's about getting to the end.
It's about pacing. Yeah, that's the thing, and that's similar to this run. So, you know, this 100-mile run. It's pacing it, isn't it? And kind of what you can maintain.
So with the amount of people, like I'll be joined by another person who's competing for doing a 24-hour deadlift. He has never done any of this, so I've been helping him train. So I said, when I started training for this about a month and a half ago. So I basically, my training split now is back and legs. So I do a soft back, soft legs, heavy back, heavy legs, and that just goes out through all the week. 5 days, 6 days. The 5th day is more about mobility in the hips and glute work, and then the 6th day is just walking, just try and keep the muscles going, and that's all I've done. So every training session on legs, I try to hit 10,000 kilo on deadlift. So there's no rush to it. I just do 10 sets of 10. I got where the other individual, he's only just started. He only come on last week. So I started training him, tried to give as much advice. I said, try this, try your training session, do 10 sets of 10. Don't rush the 10 sets. Have times, have break. He got to about his 5th set and he started to feel, I said, this is where you need to come up with your own game plan. So this is what I'm doing. I'm doing 5s. And I'm still getting the same number. Make sure he got plenty of rest. And then he did the remaining sets of 5s, had a rest, 5. And that's how he did it. And he was like, right, that's how I'm going to do mine. I was like, as long as you've understand the planning, you've got your own routine. Like, obviously, they'll be there to help him anyway. But that's what it's all about. I'm not going against him. It's not a competition between me and him. It is, what are we doing to raise awareness? And that's what I'm going to try and keep it as, you know, for the whole 24 hours.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it doesn't sound easy. And I'm not saying it sounds easy.
It sounds bloody horrible.
No, because but to work it out sounds easy. It's like you need to do this many deadlifts in this amount of time in an hour. So why don't you just go lighter and do more? Do you know what I mean? It's like you must get that in your brain, thinking like, well, I'll just do 50 kilos and do like twice as many. But it's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
For anybody's listening, by the time I got to hour 22, I was down to 60 kilo on that bar on the first time, and that felt like 200.
Yeah.
So I know full well what this bar is going to feel like at the end. All I've got to try and do is eat as much as I can. Like the last one I did, I could only manage to keep down watermelon. Don't know why. I don't even like watermelon, but that was the only thing I could keep down. And I must have went through melons in that 24 hours. Now, it all sounds well and good, nice healthy food, keeping in you. It's the DOMs afterwards, and you need to try and get to the toilet because all you've had for the last 24 hours is watermelon. That ain't healthy, that ain't pleasant, and that is hell. So that's what I'm not looking forward to this time.
You just quickly paused, actually, Mark, just when I think you said the number of watermelons you went through, so we didn't hear. How many watermelons did you
About
have?
15 watermelons.
15
big
watermelons.
watermelons.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
man, just delivering the watermelons must have been hard enough as well. Like in Dirty Dancing, when he's just trying to carry them down the thing.
Well, the link is the 24-hour live link from the last one still on YouTube, and all you see me eating is watermelon. That's it, watermelon, 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 watermelon. Like it was that hellish. They were actually going to call an ambulance on me at one point.
Wow.
It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I stopped sweating. I went all cold, started shaking, hit the floor. They wrapped me up in blankets. And then all of a sudden, in my head, all I heard is, we're going to call an ambulance. That was it. Stood back up, carried on lifting. It's like, no one's putting me in an ambulance. No one's doing that. There ain't happening. It's not this. That's not for me. That's not for me.
If I need to go to hospital, I'm going to walk to hospital.
Yeah. If I have to go to hospital, I'll go myself.
So Mark, the goal is to do this for the whole 24 hours.
Yeah.
And like you say, in your mind, you've got this 100,000 kilo total
minimum
that you want to hit for the.
Yeah.
It's interesting again because comparing it to that 100-mile run, which is it's so similar over 24 hours. Chris, do you remember Pete? He said he started off like really slow, and people were passing him and passing him and passing him, but over half of the people who started it pulled out. You know, and he was still going at the end. You know, and he still did it.
Even more ridiculous than that, it was something like 22% of the people didn't even turn up at the start.
Yeah,
it was meant to be 50 and only 39 turned up, so that's 22%. Yeah. 11 out of 50 is 22%.
Yeah,
didn't turn up.
But yeah, so Mark, how many people are actually? You've mentioned yourself and this friend you've been training with are doing it. Is it just going to be the two of you that do the whole thing?
No, we've actually we've got utter warriors, and that's what they be. That's what I call them, because you've got to be an utter warrior to do this. We've got Matt Diamond.
Oh yeah, Matt. We met him
doing it with Dewey Evans. So them two are doing it in Wales. Yeah. They're actually splitting their donation into 3, which I've not got any problem with, because their donations is for Ripple, South Wales Air Ambulance, and a children's hospice where one of his friends' children died not so long ago, and the hospice was taking care of him. So, you can do what you like, basically.
Yeah.
So you got them down in South Wales. They're doing it there. In Reading, I think you've got Erin Harris. You've also got Jack Harris. They're both doing it. You've got Pete Linton turning up there as well. You've got Lee Reeves, which I believe he's one of the owners of the gym that they that train at. And then you got Rihanna Newport. I've never met this lady, but she's getting on with Aaron, so that's it. That'll be spot on. Then we have got No Legs, No Limits.
Louise,
show.
Yeah,
she's doing it with a boyfriend, Reese. So them two are going to be doing it. I think they're going to be doing it in Bristol, or what's it called? Where's she from now?
Was she in Northampton or something? She was
Northampton, yeah, somewhere like. I think I don't know where they're doing it, but they're doing it there.
She's at uni.
So you've got people kind of dotted around all over the place doing it. Are you all going to start at the same time? And
so I'm up in Darlington. Me and Ralph King, we're doing it in Darlington in a place called Sport and Force, which is a military veterans charity which look after veterans and old-time veterans and new-time veterans, and they do all sorts of amazing stuff for veterans. That's where I'm doing mine. Also, I've just had a couple of weeks ago, I got a message from a gym in Ontario. So we're talking to them to see what they want to do. So the list is getting bigger.
Wow.
So we've got Matt and Dewey looking to hit over 250,000 kilo between themselves. Aaron and her motley crew, they will get over a couple of 100,000. My goal as a collective, so everyone doing the full 24 hours, not. So what I've told the guys is, if you're doing the full 24 hours, I want your weights to record. If people come to the gym and lift with you, I don't want that number. I just want what you've lifted. So I want all these warriors at the end of the day to hit over 1 million kilo, because that'll be amazing.
That'd be fantastic.
Go for. So yeah, not many people can turn around and say as a collective they've lifted 1 million kilo in 24 hours. Because I'm, like I said, I'm at a minimum of 100,000. It depends. I know what I'm like. I know from last time. I know what I need to do this time. So I can see me doing a little bit more than that, but that's a minimum that I'm going for.
I'm trying to rack my brains, because obviously endurance events, there's all sorts of endurance events go on. But has anything like this ever been done before? I know people like David Goggins did a pull-up challenge, didn't he? And what have you? And people do kind of like a box jump up Everest sort of thing, challenging that. But like deadlifts, it takes a lot out of you, doesn't it? So an endurance deadlift challenge is bonkers.
For an individual to accumulate weight over 24 hours is 520,000. And that was done by one individual. That he must be a machine, because, I'm not too sure.
Deadlifts or?
Deadlifts, yeah. Now he is a Guinness World Record holder for doing that. But I'd like to sit down and talk with him and see how he done that.
520,000, right? Hang on, you talk amongst yourselves. I'll figure this out.
Yeah. So I think
it was 200.
sorry, go on.
No, carry on.
Okay. What I was going to say was, Mark, you just mentioned Ontario, Canada. So I think we'll give. We need to mention Tony Vanderbaar as well, don't we? Who's kind of involved in terms of industry lifestyle, and they've designed a fantastic T-shirt for the event, haven't they? That they're selling.
Yeah,
going for that. Yeah.
So also, yeah, I approached Tony. I also approached Martin Bex. They've helped me with a lot at the start of it. And Tony is out with a lot of the organisation as well. And he turned around and said, "We'll do the T-shirts." And then next thing you know, I get this logo sent to me, and it's well, you've seen it. It's amazing. So, you know what I mean? I don't see many. I've never had my face on a T-shirt before, so I'll get in a couple. But yeah, he got it down, and then he also come out with what was the icing on the cake? Is he turned around and said, for every T-shirt sold, they're giving it to the charitable cause. So I can't thank him enough for what he's done.
Yeah, so because as you said, Pete and I both ordered one of the T-shirts yesterday, so they should be here in a few days, and we'll be wearing them when we train, won't we, Pete? And we'll have to do a. Pete looks confused. He's trying to do maths, and he's kind of like,
right. Honestly, this is so with 200 kilo, right? I'm on with that 500.
I don't think he lifted 500. I don't think he lifted 200 kilo, because if you look, like he's not a small lad. I'm not going to take that away from him, but I don't think he was lifting.
I was going to say, even I just thought just to put it in perspective, because when you give a number like that, it's hard to figure out how it all works together, right?
That's why I'd like to speak to him.
Say it was 200 kilos. That's 108 reps an hour, which is 27 every 15 minutes for 24 hours with 200 kilos. It's just ridiculous. Anyway.
But like you say, 200, you think it was less than 200 kilos, Mark, that he was doing?
I reckon it was 60 kilo that he did it with.
Oh, so just a lot light, but just loads of reps. Just get that. Yeah, just keep going. Yeah. Wow. In which case, he's probably just deadlifting non-stop for 24 hours with 60 kilos.
So that's like, that would be like almost, so 27 reps every 15 minutes. It would be like 3 times the number of reps. Yeah. Because it's like a third of the, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So anyway, see you later.
Let's go and join us.
I'd be interested to see if someone was actually, because I see some of these Guinness World Records, you've probably seen them as well, where it's the Guinness World Record for how many press-ups you do. And you see the press-ups, you're like, they're not like good press-ups. They're just like, he's just doing, So, it'd just be interested to see the video and see if they're full, like to the floor, lockout deadlifts at the top. Well, I suppose there must be, but, deadlift is quite straightforward, isn't it? You either do it or you don't, I suppose. But yeah, interesting. Anyway, so
what we need to do as well, because you talked about kilos, but for our American audience, they don't do kilos. So how many blue whales is that? How many elephants is it?
Well, 100 kilo is what, 220 pounds?
220. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just basically double everything and add a bit. Yeah. Dairy
How
mate.
much does a blue whale weigh?
So in terms of the charity Ripple Suicide Prevention, Mark, how did you choose them? Is that a charity that you have some experience with in the past, or that
No,
you
it was so basically when I started to do the planning, I was looking for a suicide prevention charity, and their one stood out to me because of one of the story. So if the story is quite a hard hitting story of why they set that charity up, but it's also what they put in place. So if you do a search or a Google search on self-harm or something like that, it actually filters that, and it comes up with, it can give you support from there. So what they've done and how they've done this, they could, like, they're trying to prevent suicide just by this electronic, like, I'm not sure how apps work. I'm too old to understand how that lot works. But what they do and what they're trying to do is different than all the others. And I really think it can work. And I'll help them as much as I can and to get what they need to be.
Excellent. Well, we'll make sure, obviously, that we Pete, won't we, in our posts and things, we'll include the link or tag in the charity Ripple Suicide Prevention. We'll also obviously put in the fundraising page that you've got, and the link as well for the t-shirts as well.
Yeah, if you send us all the links, Mark, we'll put it on the episode, but we'll also stick it on. We'll just start sticking it before this goes out. We'll start shoving it around on everywhere.
Yeah. Because some of the stuff I've seen you doing.
Which one are you doing a deadlift then?
What's that?
I've got dodgy shoulder. I think I'm actually away. I'm in somewhere near Bude, so I won't have access to a bar.
I have to say, it has piqued my interest. I'm going to be stupidly busy.
If you do it again, I'll be up for it.
I'm going to be stupidly busy over Christmas. Those I've very stupidly given a couple of members of staff the week off in between Christmas and New Year, and we're open as normal. So I'm going to be working ridiculously hard over those times. But
when you say that, though, James, you only have to do like however many. What is it? 5 every couple. You've got 7 minutes off every night.
While my client is resting in between sets, I could just be doing a quick set, I suppose, in between. I will think about this. This is really, I
want to do it. Not this time, because it's
Well,
we've got like 2 weeks notice or something. But if you do it again, I'll be well up for that.
Yeah, well, we are talking about. I'm not too sure if I can say this, but I'm going to say anyway. Because it's me, and I can get away with a lot of things because it's me. I think next year is going to be it's going to be associated with the Static Monster event. That's all I can say.
Okay. Brilliant. No, this is absolutely fantastic. And you mentioned about a live stream as well, Mark. Is that going to be? Are people going to be able to kind of?
Yeah. So
if people have insomnia and they can't sleep, they're going to be able to watch you deadlifting through the night, are they?
Yeah, and they can come and talk to me. So one of the reasons why we have a live stream, 2, we can record everyone's weight, make sure they're not cheating, all that sort of good stuff. And the other is on the last one, a person reached out. And we stopped them. So this time, the live link is also going to have we've also got a couple of mental health first aiders on the other end of the phone. So if someone does feel a need to call and speak to someone, the mental health first aider can either treat or signpost there and then. So that's why we do it.
Brilliant.
So the link will be out. I think we're going to put it out probably the morning of the event, or because it's Boxing Day, I'll be with the family, be with my boys. and I'll be sleeping as much as I'm eating as much as I can. Like I've been training as well, sleep deprivation. So I think the longest I've gone so far is for 38 hours. So it's just one of them things I've got to keep doing.
This is, yeah, because we also, going back to Chris, he was talking about that circadian rhythm, and when the night hits, when he was running, that you just, the body wants to sleep, doesn't it? And everything starts to shut down. So, but you're but you're training that sleep deprivation at the moment to kind of
So basically, I'm trying to stay awake for longer than 24 hours, and yet still do everyday things, take the kids to school, go training, eat, do, and then carry it on. It's when you realize it's dark outside that you fall asleep. Now it's a bit hard at this time of year because it's dark by 4:30. So do you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get my head round that. So I'm gonna have all the lights on in a location. I'm gonna have all sorts there.
You have to have music up loud and stuff. And
so we're not allowed to use music because we've got a YouTube live link. As soon as you put music on, it cuts it off.
Right.
So I'll just be having headphones in for that part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, I'll be doing little lives on Facebook and Instagram. Like key points. I've got people coming to talk about their own experiences. I've got people talking, like I'll talk about mine. Ralph, who's with me, will talk about his, and we'll try and link it with Matt and Erin's location. So and Louise's location, so we can all talk to each other. So you're not only just linking into mine, you're linking into them all.
You've been sharing people's stories as well, haven't you? I've seen it on Facebook anyway.
Yeah,
you've been doing a little intro, and then like it's over to whoever it is, and they're sharing their personal story. Are they the people who are going to be?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. So, no, this is incredible, and I think I saw, Mark, as well on the fundraising page. Your target is the target £100,000? Because I noticed
that was a typo. It was meant to be 10,000.
well, no, because I think it's brilliant, because you said the target for your lifting is a minimum of 100,000 kilos. And I think you've done it the same to match that. So the target's 100,000.
I know full well what the world's like at the minute. A lot of people can't live because of how the country is now. So it wasn't meant to be 100,000 kilos. It was meant to be 10,000. Sorry,
what I'll say to people is, you know how they do it on phone lines, on phone-ins for shows and that, and they tell you how much it costs. It's not a marathon. You don't want to chart. You don't want to be. You know how people go, "I'll do you £1 a mile." You don't want to do £1 a kilo because you can't afford it. You can't afford it. Go for it.
But no, I wouldn't see. I like to raise money for Ripple. That is the goal. Yes, I want to raise as much money for them so they can get their plan in place and they can get whatever they need to do and they can support people who are going through this. Yes, I do. But the overall goal is to stop people from committing suicide. That's what it's for.
Yeah. Mark, I mean, this has been, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, we've been talking for nearly an hour now, and it's just great that I'm so glad we managed to get this scheduled, first of all. And I really hope that people listen to this on Boxing Day or the day after when you're actually doing the event. And then we'll also have to, I mean, if people want to, because probably I know you'll be sharing lots of stuff, obviously, over the course of the event. So it's good for people to maybe try and connect with you on social media so they know what's going on and that sort of thing.
Mark Tonner's training on Instagram and Mark Tonner on Facebook.
Yes, that's Tonner. That's TONNER. Yeah. So easy to find on Instagram and on Facebook.
A psychopath with one arm thrown weight above his head.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like I say, we'll be sharing all the links to the t-shirts, the fundraising page, the live stream. Once we get all those kind of links, we'll put all that out there. And it's just been amazing. And maybe we'll be able to catch up with you in the new year and just find out kind of how it all went. And then obviously, like you say, if you're going to do this again next year and we have a bit more run up to it, then we can obviously get more people involved, can't we? And raise even more money, because it's definitely something that is really,
I think there'll be people I think there'll be people who want to do this who you're not aware of, like through Strong First and RKC and all that sort of stuff. There'll be people all over the shop who would be like, "That's a challenge. I'll have a go at that," because it's. I would never. Honestly, 24-hour deadlifting, I would never have thought of that. It's like, why would you?
And we do have
not many people come up with the ideas that I have.
And we do have lots of people listening in America, in Canada, in Australia, in across Europe and stuff. So hopefully, yeah, we get this message out there. You know, the message that you said, you know, this suicide prevention message and cause and charity is obviously hugely needed. You know, and thank you so much, Mark, for coming on and spending the time with us. It's been incredible. Yeah, brilliant. So you can follow, like we say, go to Instagram and Facebook for Mark Tonner. Strength or training, was it on Instagram?
Yeah, Mark Tonner Training on Instagram.
Mark Tonner Training on Instagram, and just Mark Tonner on Facebook as himself. Yeah, brilliant. Pete, anything you'd like to say as we kind of wrap up?
I'm kind of speechless just thinking.
No.
It's kind of starting to hit me how big a task this is, you know. So yeah, it's great. And like I say, yeah, it's going to happen again by the sounds of it. So yeah. Just let us know. Give us like more than 2 weeks notice. And then
Brilliant. So thank you, Mark, for joining us. I mean, this is brilliant. And we hope, obviously, and like you said, you mentioned, obviously, this is the day after Boxing Day. So Christmas Day, Boxing Day, you can have a real good feed and be fully caloried up and be fully, you know, muscle glycogen will be overspilling. And then you'll just be eating those watermelons for 24 hours, which will be fantastic. Yeah. But thank you everybody for listening. And this has been a very, very special Boxing Day episode of Health Oddity. We will be back to our regular Friday. So it won't be this Friday, the 30th, I think, of December. It will be, it won't be the Friday the 29th. There will be, the next episode will be with Alison Young on Friday the 5th of January. Please do like, share, subscribe, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so. Please do share this episode. Please do, if you can, go to the fundraising page and make a donation to this to Ripple Suicide Prevention. And if you can, while you're relaxing over Christmas this week, over the next few days, try and check in on the live stream, and you're going to see some amazing things with these athletes, with these warriors who are doing this 24-hour deadlift. We will see you again in 2024 on Friday, the 5th of January. Thank you. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your New Year. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.